A look at the Central Florida pro-life movement ahead of a consequential election for abortion rights. You're listening to The Wrap from Central Florida Public Media. I'm Brendan Byrne. Pro-life groups are mobilizing against Amendment 4, a ballot measure Floridians are voting on in the general election. Should it pass, it would enshrine abortion rights into the Florida Constitution. It's an easy no for some pro-life advocates, but what's not easy is finding a conservative champion who embodies absolute pro-life values: no abortions.
No, we need to start speaking it now and demand it now. Not applaud, not congratulate any lawmakers that file bills that are incremental, that still leave babies unprotected. As you can see, the 6-week ban still leaves babies unprotected.
A look at Central Florida's pro-life movement and who supporters see as a champion in those values. That's ahead on The Wrap, the big stories this week from Central Florida Public Media. But first, these news headlines. In the wake of Hurricane Milton, dozens of Volusia County residents upset and devastated by flooding spoke out at a county council meeting on Tuesday. Central Florida Public Media's Lilian Hernandez Carballo was there and says people are once again calling for a moratorium on building until problems are figured out.
Hurricane Milton dropped a lot of rain on Volusia County. Still, many residents are pointing at newer developments as the reason for flooding they say is persistent and increasingly devastating. Residents say new developments are built higher and leaving the water nowhere to go, but to older communities built on lower ground. The packed room in Volusia County chambers got up one by one to share their complaints and pleads for help. People like Martha Ashley from Glenwood.
We are all tired of paying for this. People have been displaced for the first time ever because their homes or properties have flooded, and the number of those people is quickly climbing. The cities and county are responsible for this because permits were issued for buildings. It's time to stop.
In response, District 3 Councilman Danny Robbins suggested residents reach out to their district representatives directly. Lilian Hernandez Carballo, Central Florida Public Media.
Lilian Hernandez Carballo is a Report for America Corps member. Throughout Central Florida, thousands of residents are left with damage, debris, and flooding. This week, FEMA visited homes in Lake County to offer help. Central Florida Public Media's Marian Summerall has more.
On Royal Oak Drive in Fruitland Park, FEMA officials and Corps members went door to door asking residents if they needed any assistance or aid after Hurricane Milton.
It was a good thing that they came around because I honestly didn't think this year we were going to have any FEMA assistance of any kind.
That was Layla Dutson, who lives on Royal Oak Drive. Although she didn't have extensive damage from Hurricane Milton, Dutson has friends and neighbors who have damage from the storm and need help. She says by canvassing, FEMA helped clarify what they do for hurricane survivors. This was Molly Crow's goal. Crow is a disaster survivor assistance specialist with FEMA. She says canvassing helps survivors get information quickly while connecting with people in person.
And our job as the face of FEMA is to be that empathetic ear, to listen to people's stories, to talk to them, to allow them to tell us what happened to them in the disaster and where they might need help.
Crow says sometimes when filing for assistance, there can be a lot of confusion about the process. And sometimes the first correspondence back from FEMA states they've been denied. Crow says often that's because the agency needs something as simple as a driver's license or, for those who have insurance, a settlement statement. Marian Summerall, Central Florida Public Media.
With the election just weeks away, Governor Ron DeSantis is urging supervisors of elections in the counties hardest hit by Hurricane Milton to make changes to polling sites if there's storm-related damage. Under his executive order, supervisors in a handful of counties can change polling locations, drop boxes, and vote-by-mail procedures as needed. The governor issued a similar executive order after Hurricane Helene. He's added several Central Florida counties to that list, including Orange and Polk. More local news stories on our website. Visit cfpublic.org. What happens when two Central Florida strangers with differing political views sit down for a conversation, not to debate, but to find common ground? Central Florida Public Media is partnering with StoryCorps' One Small Step program to find out. Listen back to these conversations or sign up to participate in One Small Step on our website, cfpublic.org/onesmallstep. This week, we've been reporting on the amendment on the general election ballot that would enshrine abortion rights up to viability, or around 24 weeks into the state constitution. As the November general election draws near, some pro-life groups have started their own Vote No campaign. In one installment of our series looking at the issue, Central Florida Public Media health reporter Joe Mario Pedersen found in Florida some pro-life advocates aren't happy with the current 6-week ban or the Republican Party.
Ann Marchetti of Winter Garden is voting no on Amendment 4. While most Republicans are expected to join her in voting no, it's an area where she doesn't believe the GOP has taken a strong enough stance when it comes to championing pro-life values.
I mean, come on. The Republican Party needs to produce somebody better. We left the Republican Party as a result because that word conservative does not mean what it used to mean. And who we're going to vote for is still to be decided.
For Marchetti, she believes the word conservative used to have closer ties to Christian values and stronger pro-life convictions. Florida resident and former President Donald Trump has said Florida's 6-week ban is too strict, but did say in August he would vote against Amendment 4. His non-committal stance on the matter has upset pro-lifers who are looking for a Republican who isn't using their belief as a means of winning political capital.
He's not a leader. He's actually going along with the whims of the people. And to me, that's a lack of leadership.
Marchetti believes that most Republicans have played political football with her pro-life beliefs, saying they don't believe in abortion but aren't committing themselves to outlawing it. That's why she and other pro-life advocates take to the streets and demonstrate almost every day, not only about Amendment 4, but also to stop women from getting abortions. A warning, this interaction outside a woman's health facility may be difficult to hear for some people.
I'm telling you.
When I'm telling you that seriously, I always was so against abortion until I found myself in a situation. But maybe you just can't understand exactly what I'm feeling.
But she can because she's been through it.
No, but I guess you can't because you made the choice to do that anyways. But I'm telling you, I feel that I can't make that choice.
Marchetti and other Christian advocates speak to a woman standing outside of a Planned Parenthood in East Orlando, trying to dissuade her from getting an abortion. The woman with a Planned Parenthood appointment tells them this is something she has to do. She explains she's 5 weeks pregnant and she doesn't have time to argue.
I can't do it.
You got to.
I can't.
You can.
You can.
And I'm sorry, but I have my
can do
appointment and I
this.
have to go find this information.
Somebody's
So
lying to you. Do not do this again.
it's not
You can
anyone
do this
lying
by
to
the
me,
grace
it's
of God.
myself. It's my
Yes.
own feelings, it's my own self.
Eventually, she leaves and heads into the clinic. Marchetti is upset.
No, we need to start speaking it now and demand it now. Not applaud, not congratulate any lawmakers that file bills that are incremental, that still leave babies unprotected. As you can see, the 6-week ban still leaves babies unprotected.
One of the few pro-life Republicans local advocates have been impressed with is Representative Webster Barnaby of District 29, which covers a lot of Volusia County. Unlike some of his colleagues, Barnaby has made his position on abortion very clear. He's against it.
We have the consent of the governed. Therefore, we as legislators must be responsible to protect life at all stages. And life, in my opinion, clearly begins at conception.
Prior to Florida's 6-week ban, Barnaby filed several anti-abortion bills allowing for exceptions, but none made it off the floor. He supports the current ban and thinks it's a step in the right direction, but he believes the legislature could do more to discourage abortions by giving families more money.
Whether it's a tax credit in the home for parents with children, whether it's going back to school, everything is about fostering a culture of life.
Barnaby says he has strong family ties and believes more children not only offer a happier home, but a more productive society.
When you have more children, you produce more in the community. You need more supplies for school, for homes. And because there are more people in the population benefits economically.
Ultimately, Barnaby wants to see abortions done away with in Florida, allowing for the procedure only in cases of rape, incest, and emergencies to save a mother. But he doesn't think the state is ready for that.
I don't think so at this point. I don't think we're in that position. I think what we are doing in the legislature, what Governor DeSantis has done, is to be respected.
I mean, I guess nothing would surprise me. So I don't see that it's outside of the realm of possibility.
That's Stetson public health law professor Dr. Robin Powell. She says there are no loud rumblings of more restrictions, but Florida has made its position on abortion clear.
In particular, we see that the legislature and the governor and the administration have all shown a pretty strong disdain for Amendment 4.
In September, Governor Ron DeSantis launched a state investigation into thousands of petition signatures used to get Amendment 4 on the November ballot. The state's Agency for Healthcare Administration also launched an anti-Amendment 4 commercial campaign. Powell says a state agency campaigning against a citizen-led ballot measure is unprecedented. Should Amendment 4 pass, a judge will review and enforce the constitutional rights adopted by voters. Last year in Ohio, voters passed a similar abortion amendment. Ohio legislators attempted to pass a bill that would limit the court's ability to enforce the voter-approved amendment. It didn't work, but Powell thinks Florida could face a similar situation if Amendment 4 passes.
If you look at that, sort of the totality of all of these circumstances, I think there is instances in which the legislature might try. I don't know that they would be successful because lots of people would challenge it legally.
Representative Barnaby is hopeful Amendment 4 won't pass and that Donald Trump will once again be elected president. Despite Trump's stance on abortion, Barnaby still thinks Trump is the right candidate for president.
I believe that over time, his opinion may be more pro-life depending on the opportunity he gets to be amongst individuals like myself.
Barnaby will be defending his district seat in the November election against Democratic challenger Rosemarie Latham, who supports abortion rights. Joe Mario Pedersen, Central Florida Public Media.
This week, 2 lawsuits were filed related to Amendment 4. One, filed with the state court Wednesday, alleges that Floridians Protecting Freedom, the group pushing for the amendment, hired a California company to gather fraudulent signatures, and it doesn't have the necessary amount to place it on the ballot. In a second lawsuit, also filed Wednesday, Floridians Protecting Freedom is now suing Florida Department of Health for sending letters to TV stations and threatening litigation if they did not remove pro-Amendment 4 ads from the airwaves. More coverage of this issue, including Joe Mario Pedersen's series on Amendment 4, is on our website, cfpublic.org. That's it for The Wrap this week. This podcast is produced by Central Florida Public Media, with assistance from News Director LaToya Dennis and Digital Director Ryan Ellison. I'm Brendan Byrne. This is The Wrap.